little yarnivores and spiderettes, Fiber Spider, back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I'm going to show you how to crochet a really easy, lovely, and oh so lacy shawl that I found on Pinterest. And it was a schematic, which I did some tweaking because I wasn't happy with the way it was coming out. So I sort of made it my own in a sense. You know, the basis is on the pattern, but yes, I did some fumbling and some tweaking, and so I'm calling it the Linked Hearts Shawl. And I really hope that you like it as much as I do. And so for this project, I used, as you can see, Red Heart Super Saver in Ombre, and I used 3 different colors, and it gave it a really beautiful effect. Absolutely love it. So the 3 that I used, and as always, no, I'm not sponsored, but I wanted to show you what it is that I use. So the 3 colorways that I used were Anemone and Anthracite and Violet. And so I bought 6 skeins because I was paranoid that I wasn't going to have enough. And this is what I had left over from my original 3 skeins, you know, to give you some sort of indication. Now, I used a size I crochet hook, okay, and also I took measurements of my finished shawl. So from the neckline down to the base tip, it is 45 inches approximately. This does have a tendency to stretch. And then the diagonal is about 58 inches, and then the top edge is approximately 78 inches, okay? And like I said, this does have a tendency to stretch. It is very, very lacy. It is, I would say, far more decorative than functional. I can't imagine this keeping you especially warm, but all these cute little hearts, all lovely and linked together, it's a really cute pattern, and I just really wanted to share it with you guys. And of course, you can make this, you know, whatever dimensions, you know, set of dimensions that you want. It will make a triangular format. Now, keep in mind that the first series of hearts that we're going to make is actually starting at this base point here, working up the side this way. And then the next row will be going from here to here, then here to here, here to here. So what I did was I did a linking of hearts, again, starting from here, going all the way up to this point here. I did a total of 18 hearts, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Don't you worry. You can do whatever number you want. I thought that 18 suited me just fine, also because it was divisible by 3. And so it worked out as far as having a divisible number, you know, divisible by 3, so that I could have all 3 of these lovely yarns working in cooperation with each other. You can do however many that you want. I just wanted to let you know what it is that I did. So keep in mind that, so you have 18, then the next series would be 17, then the next row would be 16 hearts and 15 hearts and so on and so forth, until you have just one little cute little heart at the end. All right, so that's to give you a basis for how this pattern works. So without further ado, let's get started. Alrighty, so I have my size I crochet hook, and I got my yarn. Now, of course, you can use whatever yarn you want and whatever hook size that corresponds. I'm just letting you know what it is that I use, so that if you want to duplicate the results, you can do so. Also, this might be a really great stash buster for you. All right. And also, since I'm doing this in late January, hopefully you'll be able to get this done in time for Valentine's Day. That's what I had in mind. So, as always, starting with our slip knot, we're going to start by chaining up 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then into the first chain, we're going to do 2 double crochets. Oh, come on now. There we go. So we've got a cluster of 3 doubles for the first row. All right, then for the second row, going to chain up 3 stitches, turn the work. Now, so we have, technically speaking, 3 double crochets. So into the first double crochet, that's right into here, we're going to do 2 double crochets because the chaining of 3 counts as a double crochet. So we have the chain of 3, which counts as our first double crochet, then 2 more into that same stitch. So we've got a cluster. Then into this middle double crochet, we're going to do 1 double crochet. And then into the top chain of this chain 3 over here. It can be a little bit tricky, I know, but we will persevere and we will do this. There you go. Underneath both the loops like that, we're going to do 3 double crochets at this end. It's always about symmetry in so many patterns, and this one is no exception. All right, so that's the end of the second row. So we went from 3 doubles to 3 doubles, 1 double, 3 doubles. Lots of clusters going on. All right, so that's the end of the second row. Now for the third row, start by, of course, chaining up 3. Oops, 1 and 2 and 3. Turn the work. Again into this first double crochet space. 2 more double crochets because we need another cluster of 3. Okay, then we're going to do 2 regular double crochets into the next 2 stitches. So that's 1 and 2. Then into the next stitch, we're going to do a single crochet stitch. And this is going to start to give the heart a bit of a pucker at the top. Then into the next 2 stitches, we're going to do regular double crochets again. There we go. And then into this last chaining of 3, this last double crochet, we're going to do 3 double crochets again. There we go. So that's 1. And, oop, sometimes the yarn does split a little bit, but that's okay. And 2. And 3. All right. So that's the end of the third row. So again, it's a cluster of 3, then 2 regular doubles, then a little single, then 2 more doubles, and then a cluster of 3. All right, so that's the end of the third row. Now the fourth row is a little bit different still, but it's the last row of this heart. And that's why I'm not doing the little clicker, because this is a very quick motif to do. So for the fourth row, we're going to start by only chaining up 2 chains and then turn the work. And this is where things get a little bit different. So instead of doing a double crochet into here, this first one right here, I'm going to skip on to the next one, and we're going to start a double, but we're not going to finish it. We're going to be basically double crocheting 2 double crochets together. So we've got our unfinished double, then into the next one, another unfinished double, and then finish it together. So we've got a chaining of 2 and then 2 double crochets together. Then we're going to do the same thing again. So we're going to start a double, but not finish. Start another double, and then finish the 3 together. So we've got 2 clusters. Okay, then we are going to chain 2, and where we have our single crochet right down in here, we're going to do a slip stitch right down into here. Like so. And that is the first poof of our heart. Then, to do the secondary poof, we chain 2. And again, we need to do 2 groupings of 2 double crochets crocheted together. So, into the first, we start but do not finish. Into the next, we start but do not finish, and then we finish the 3 together. And then we got to do that one more time. Start but do not finish. Would help if I had all of my plies. There we go. And then another start but do not finish. This yarn splits like something terrible, but we will get through this. All right, and then we pull through all 3. And then to finish, chain 2, and then into the top of this last double crochet, we do a slip stitch. Ta-da! And you have a cute little heart. Now, of course, you could, use this heart however you wish, but we're going to continue on and make some more, going from here into this direction. And that's the side of the shawl. See, that base point right down here is where we're starting right now, and we would continue going up this way. I'm not going to do all 18, no, but I am going to make sure that you have a very solid understanding of how this pattern works. All right, so we'll get on to the next one. All right, so we just finished our first heart. Now we need to make another one. All right, so to start, we are going to do a chaining up of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, and so we're going to start again with our cluster of 3. We're not going to go into this very first chain. We're going to go into the 4th chain. And what I find helps is not going through just the top of the V, but to go through the top of the V and the middle, leaving this bottom one out, is what I find helps. So you do end up with 2 loops on there, okay? So pulling up and doing 2 double crochets. So we have our bottom cluster, just like we started with. And then we chain up 3, turn the work, 2 more doubles into this first double crochet, double crochet in the middle, and then into the last double crochet, which can always be a little bit tricky, but it's not a race. Just gotta be a little bit persistent, that's all. Into this last one, we're doing a total of 3 again. Before you know it, you will be able to do this virtually with your eyes closed, because what we did with this first heart, we're just going to be doing over and over and over. It's just a matter of how you join them. All right, so that's our second row, third row, we chain up 3, turn the work into that first space, add 2 more doubles for a cluster of 3. Then we're going to do 2 regular doubles. Come on, there we go. And then a single. And then 2 more regular doubles. And then into the last 3 doubles. Once I get in there, there we go. There we are. All right, so that's row 3. So for the last row, chaining up 2, because now we need to do our clusters together. So again, skipping this first one here, going into the next, starting a double, but not finishing, starting another double, but not finishing, then pull through all 3, do it again, start a double, start a double, pull through all 3, then we chain 2, and then into that single crochet we do a slip stitch, chain 2 again, and then we start a double, start another double, pull through all 3, start a double, start a double, pull through all 3, chain 2, and then down here into this first double crochet, we slip stitch. All right, so now we've got 2. And yes, these will twist and be all flibberty-jibbity, but that is okay. You can rearrange them later when we're doing the next row and so forth. So do not fret, do not worry. These will be like a mobile doing every which way thing. Do not worry about that. And so really that's how you keep going. And you know what? I'm going to do one more just because. Just because I enjoy doing this. It's quick, it's easy, and I really want to make sure that you got it. All right, so we'll keep going. All right, so we're going to do yet another little heart. So again, starting off by chaining up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Then going into the 4th chain, 2 double crochets, chain up 3, 3 total of 3 double crochets into here, so we're just doing 2 more for the total of 3. All right, then 1 double in the center, and then into the last, we're going to do 3 for our cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 3, turn the work, 2 doubles into that very first double, like so. then 2 regular doubles into the next 2 double crochet stitches, and then a single crochet, then 2 regular doubles, and then into the very last 3 doubles. That's 1, 2, and 3. Then, because it's going to be our last row, we chain 2, turn the work, not into this first one, but into the next one. We start a double, but do not finish. Start another double, but do not finish, and then we pull through all 3. And we do the same thing again. Start a double, but do not finish. Start a double, but do not finish. Pull through all 3. Noisy neighbors, sorry. Then we chain 2, slip stitch into that single crochet, okay, then we chain 2, and then we go on to starting a double but not finishing, start another double but do not finish, and then we pull through all 3, do it again, start a double but do not finish, start another double but do not finish, and then we pull through all 3, chain 2, and then slip stitch into the top of this end chain here, like so. All right. Let's get situated here, and I'll show you what we got. Ta-da! And what I really like about the ombre yarn is that, especially with a long sequence of hearts, the color slowly changes. Now, of course, you could use whatever kind of yarn you want. Personally, I think that Shawl in a ball would look awesome because it does have a nice, slow, gradual colorway. Cairn cakes could totally work. Mandala yarn could work. Really, anything with a color change I think is awesome. Although what you could very easily do is to do a heart and then start a new strand of yarn with your chaining of 5. Okay, like you do your slip stitch with your new yarn. You chain up 5, and then with your new yarn, and then you start a new heart, and so on and so forth. Although that would be a tremendous number of ends to sew in, because just on this one, just on this one side that I did, the first starting side, that's 18 hearts, and then another 17 hearts, and then another 16 hearts, and then 15, and so on and so forth. One less every row that you do. So that would be a lot of ends to sew in. But you really don't use a lot of yarn for each of these hearts. So really, if you don't mind sewing in ends, more power to you. Another thing, actually, that I just thought of that you could very conceivably do is to use those little tail ends to your advantage, and because it would happen here and so forth, you could use it as fringe, sort of like tasseled fringe on the edge, whatever works for you. So we have our first row of hearts, and I'm going to show you how to continue on by doing your next row of hearts. All right. All right, so to continue on, here is my first heart that I started with. And so up here we have our last row. You want to start in the row right below it. And what I find works is, see that little hole right there? You know, you could work around the post, or you could try to find that little stitch space right there. It's really not that crucial, but whatever you do, try to be consistent as much as you can as you continue on. You know, if you're going to do it the same way for each heart, you know, that's what you want to do, because as you can see, it's on the side here, so you want it to be relatively on the side over here, okay? So going right into here with our hook, and we have our new yarn. We're going to start right in. So we're going to pull up a loop in that space, and we're going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just as we have been. And then into that 4th chain, we're going to start our new heart. 1 and 2 double crochets, just as we have been doing. Now, of course, you can tug on this later and you can sew in the ends later. Do not fret, do not worry. It is quite all right. It's not going anywhere. And so then we chain up 3, turn the work, 2 more doubles into that same first double crochet space, 1 double in the center, and then into the last one, it will be 3 doubles as soon as I can get in there. There we go. Also, what I would recommend is, I mean, I only did 3 hearts for you, and I'm starting in right now with the 2nd row. I would strongly suggest do the entire length of your initial chain of hearts, which will make it a lot easier for you, I find. All right, so I've got that, and then into the next row, chaining of 3, of course. Turn the work, 2 more doubles into that first double, into the next 2 double crochets, just 2 regular double crochets, nothing schmancy. And then a single crochet into the next, and then 2 doubles, and then a cluster of 3 at the end. There we go. And then for the last row, chain 2, turn the work. Now we're doing our 2 double crochets together. Another 2 together. And then chain 2, slip stitch into the single crochet stitch, chain 2, and then we do our 2 double crochets together twice again. And then chain 2 for the very end, we slip stitch into the top of that last chain. Voila. All right, so now we have our hearts going on here. All right, so what you want to do is to avoid too much twist when you're joining. See, it looks like it wants to go this way. So, because we kept turning this every time we changed a row. Now, of course, we can't have it on this side, on the right side. We need it to be on the left side. So there needs to be a modicum, a modicum of twist so that it goes to the left, okay? And we can tighten that up, and there we go. So then what we need to do is we need to join. So we have this heart, and then we're joining to the second heart. Now again, we don't want it to be too twisted. It's better. All right, so what we're going to need to do is to join them. We chain one, and then we're going to do a double crochet into the same spot that we joined down here, the same sort of spot. Now I find that it helps if you sort of hang on to that while you find the right stitch space to go into. See right there, right on the side. And we do a double crochet, linking them together. And I'm going to put this down for a moment to show you exactly what I'm talking about. See, we joined right there, and then we did our heart, and then we had to turn it so that where the tail was up here, it's then over on this side. We chained one, and then did a double crochet into this space here on this side. And now we're going to work our way up, making another heart, and we're going to connect again to this side over here. Now again, see, as you can see, this heart is a little bit twisted, so you'd want to adjust it a little bit so it's not completely out of kilter. And it will get out of kilter as you're crocheting, but before you connect, that's when you want to actually make sure that there isn't too much twist going on here. Okay, so I will do another connecting for you, and I will show you how it's done. All right, so I did my chain one, and then a double crochet into the top on this side over here. So now we're going to continue on by doing yet another little heart. So we're going to start by chaining up 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then into that fourth one down, we start by doing our 2 doubles. Now, the alterations that I made, actually, just before I keep going, is that in the original pattern that I found, there was actually a hole right here that you ended up stitching down into, which I did not groove on, shall we say. I didn't like the way it looked aesthetically. Also, there were a lot more chains in between the hearts, and it was really loosey-goosey, I thought. 1, 2, and 3 chains. And I mean, as it is, this is a very lacy design as it is, although I thought that that was a bit overkill, you know, for me personally. So that's why I tweaked it, you know, and that's what I always try to encourage with you, to do what works for you. if a pattern isn't quite to your satisfaction, make some adjustments. If you find that it works better, great. It's through experimentation that we grow and we change and we learn. And that's important. It's not good to be stuck in a rut. All right, so we did our first 3, then 3, 1, 3. I'm not changing anything. I'm chaining up a 3. Turn that work. 2 more doubles. Two regular doubles. And then a single crochet, and then 2 more doubles. And then in the end, 3 doubles. There we go. Last row, chain 2, turn the work. Then we need to do our double crochets together. Two more together. Chain 2, slip stitch into the single crochet. Chain 2, do our double crochets together. Two more together. Chain 2, and then slip stitch into the top of this last double crochet. All right, and now we need to connect once again. Now, yes, this has a tendency of being all flippy, floppy, and fiddly, but you can do it. You can totally do it. All right, so now as you can see, it is twisted. So I usually do 2 twists to the left, and that untwists it rather nicely, I find. And so as you can see, we're working our way up this direction here to this heart. Now see, this heart already twisted. I understand it can be a little bit fiddly, but the end result, I think, is very much worth it. So, going to twist this heart around that way. Nope, that's too much twist that way, so we'll do it this way. There we go. All right. So then, going to do as we did. Chain 1. And because this is going to be the top of the shawl, so to speak, instead of doing a double crochet, I'm just going to do a slip stitch. Whenever you're in the middle of the work and so forth, you would want to give it some space, but at the top, for a nice clean look, I find, if I would stop twisting at my work here, after doing a chain 1, just do a slip stitch into that stitch. And there you go. I'll lay it out again for you so you can really see what's going on. Okay. So this would be, of course, the very bottom point. And as you work your way up, so at these junctures, it would be a chaining of 1 and then a double crochet into here. Then when you reach the top, it would be a chaining of 1 and then a slip stitch into there. And I find that it works out just fine. So now to recap, once you finish your hearts on this initial side here, it would be a chaining up of 5. When you're starting a new heart down here, again, it's a chaining up of 5. And then after you do your chain 1 double crochet over here, and you have your stitch right in the middle here, all you need to do is a chaining up of 4. Okay? And then to continue, all you would need to do is, again, insert your hook into this little stitch on the side here, and then pull up a loop, chain 5, and then continue making up your heart. And then, imagine that this is much bigger than it actually is. And so then you would continue to join by chaining 1, double crochet, and then when you reach the very top edge, it would be a chain 1 and a slip stitch into that top there. And that's really all there is to it. And I know that this is sort of a rough look at what you need to do, but I really hope that it gives you a good understanding as to how this pattern works, and I really hope that you enjoyed it, because I certainly did. In fact, I was so determined to get this project done in order to give you guys enough time to get it done for Valentine's Day if you wanted to do so, that I actually, in spite of also working, I did this project in 3 days. Yes. 3 days of nonstop stitching and caffeine. But I did it, and because I really wanted to make sure that you guys could do it too, because, well, this is, we're approaching the holiday of love, and I love you guys, and, this is just what I do, and I'm very passionate about it. So if you like the video, please hit the little thumbs up button down below, and, your support, it means ever so much to me, so I would really appreciate that. Also, if you have any questions or comments or what have you, please do so in the comment section down below. I love hearing from you. And if you haven't hit subscribe already, please hit subscribe, because that way you will be informed as to my next video. And I do try to post as often as I can, so that way you'll know. So listen, my dears, until next time, I want you all to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, and above all, stay stitching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.